My name's Goldstein. I'm a student in the E3 learning program, and I'm going to be doing my presentation of learning. This semester, I'm doing it on Herbal Apothecary and product development. I'm one of the co-founders and members of Herbal Apothecary. It's an herbal infused skincare company, and I'm just going to be going through what I do within the company, which is product development, how that works. I'll talk a little bit about our products and then some of our new products, which are the ones that I helped develop. So a product development overview, kind of what goes into actually making a product. I kind of split it up into the pieces that I felt like I had to use in order to do it. So brainstorming for sure, research, formulation, testing, revamping, and then the actual release of the product. And I'll be going into depth with those as well. So brainstorming, I was always taught you kind of have to ask yourself questions about the product before you even begin to think about what goes in it. So what kind of product do I want it to do? Why am I actually making the product? Would I use the product myself? What benefits or what constituents do I want the product to do? So how is it going to react with the skin, and what kind of pieces do I want that to include? What kind of research do I need to do on the product? Can I use ingredients that I already know what they do, or do I need to bring in new things? And again, would I actually use the product personally, and what would I want to get out of it if I was a consumer? Once you have the brainstorming done, you can then go into the research part, which for me is spending a ton of time in the library and on the computer, figuring out what herbs and oils are going to do the things that I want it to do. So if I want it to be super moisturizing, am I going to use olive oil, or am I going to use sesame seed oil? Of course, oils are all moisturizing, but which one would do what I want it to do more? And then looking at resources that have credibility. Online, we also worked with a chemist, so every time I'd find an ingredient or come up with a recipe, I'd talk it over with her, just to get her advice and guidance on whether or not that will really work. So I learned a lot of chemistry behind it as well. So a lot of the times I'll use our herbal dictionary or the herbs and oils that we already have, but with a lot of new products I have to bring new things in, because of course every product we want it to do something different, so I always have to be finding the new thing. Once we have a baseline of what we want it to do and what we want it to consist of, we can go into formulation. So we worked again with a chemist very, very closely, and she taught me to work within spreadsheets and split everything out into percentages based on what I want it to do. So if I want it to be super moisturizing, I'd probably have a higher percentage of oil. If I want it to be super detoxifying, I'd probably have less oil and more of like a bentonite clay, that kind of thing. So we worked together on formulating the ingredients into percentages based on what we wanted the product to do, and then how they would react with each other. For example, some preservatives, if you use them above 1% in your product, it can cause issues or make the skin burn, that kind of thing. So I had to learn how to use ingredients safely as well, and in what percentages that consists of. And then once we have an actual formulation done, we can put it in a bottle, and we always test it. So we usually take 4 or 5 people, as many as possible really, with different types of skin or different types of hair to test the product. And we usually do that for a couple of months, just to see how the product reacts with the skin, and to see how the product reacts in and of itself. So I'll be talking about that more when I talk about the cleanser and the face mask and the serum, but there's lots of different steps that go into the testing. Once the testing's done, the product's not causing any issues with anybody, the product's stable, we can then figure out what we need to do. So if something went wrong, we'd have to go back into the formulation, figure it out. If it's good to go, we can go into the product release, which is like branding and marketing, figuring out what kind of labels we want to put everything into, what kind of bottles, our target market, that kind of thing. So that's the outline of like what product development consists of, and then I'm going to talk about what that has to do with certain kinds of products. So personally, I've been working on the facial cleanser, the face mask, and the serum. I'm going to talk about the facial cleanser first. So I had to go through all of those steps, the brainstorming, what do I want it to do, all those kinds of steps. So I decided I wanted to be an herbal infused facial cleanser, which is what we do with all of our products. And I wanted it to be hydrating, but I also wanted it to be a toner. So a lot of like the oils that we have, the face and body elixirs, are really moisturizing, but they're not necessarily cleansing. So I wanted to find a way to incorporate oils into a cleanser. So the ingredients we ended up having are the infused sunflower oil, which is really gentle and clarifying for the skin, so blemishes, all of those kinds of things. We have black cumin oil, which is an oil out of India, and it's really, really soothing for the skin. I know putting pepper on your face doesn't sound like it would be, but it's actually really clarifying and really toning, so it evens out your skin tone. We have saponified olive oil, which is basically makes it foam. So it is olive oil and it does have some of the benefits, but that's to make it lather in your hands. And we also have two kinds of preservatives we're testing, ones that I've researched myself. It's Phytocide and a Dermasoft. So both of them are completely organic and they're oil soluble, so we're seeing how they react with the product right now. Basically, we don't want anything to grow inside the product. We don't want any germs or bacteria. So we're testing out whether or not those are going to work so that we're not selling somebody something that's going to go rancid. I love it. It has a super herbal smell to it. It's very clarifying. I love it on my skin. Along with that, we have the face mask. So it's the green velvet face mask. It's probably my favorite product we have. It has bentonite clay. So that's a depolarized clay, meaning that when you put it on your face, it's going to draw out toxins. So it reacts with your skin in a way that it's going to draw out dirt and toxins and things that are in your skin that aren't supposed to be there. And we have aloe vera root, which is very, very calming. So it is going to be drawing, but it's also going to be soothing. A lot of face masks, when you put them on your face, you feel like your face is on fire or you're tightening up really bad. So this is going to tone that down a little bit. It's super soothing, and it's just the aloe vera root powder. And we also have the French green clay, which is really, really calming as well as detoxifying. But again, this mask is something that's subtle, so you're not going to feel like somebody's clawing at your skin. It's going to be a nice soothing kind of feeling. And we also incorporate herbs, of course, into this. So there's ground calendula and ground thyme. So both of those are, again, clarifying. Calendula is like the overall skin herb, and thyme is really used to kind of invigorate the skin and get things working so that your skin's regenerating, new cells are being made, all of that kind of stuff. And our essential oil blend, we have frankincense in it. So it is gender neutral, and you can kind of see it's a little bit of it's a powder that you can add water or oil to. And the serum, so it's a little bit more intense than our face and body elixir. It has rosehip oil, which, going back to ancient Egypt and all of those ancient cultures, is the oil that people use on their skin. So it does smell good. Cleopatra used rosehip oil on her skin. That's actually been proven. That was one of her favorite things. So if Cleopatra uses it, everybody should. We also have the black cumin seed oil in here, again, super ancient, used for a long, long time, very good for the skin. Vitamin E, which is right now our only preservative in this. The reason we're working with preservatives with the cleanser is because we have rose water in it. And water and oil, when they mix, they tend to like mold or they can go rancid. So we're putting things in there that are going to disinhibit that from happening. We have white willow bark, thyme, red clover, calendula, and comfrey. So this is our anti-aging in a bottle. It's really, really good for building up collagen in the skin. You start to lose it when you're 20. People think that you should start using anti-aging when you're 50 or 60, and it's really, you should use it as a means to just prohibit your skin from losing it, because it's really hard to build it back up, but it's easier to prohibit them from going away. So that's what I've been working on, and again, I had to go through all of the brainstorming. I had to do a ton of research, particularly on the cleanser, think I counted, I spent like over 20 hours trying to find the preservatives that I wanted to use. Because we go into this wanting it to be super authentic. So nothing chemical, nothing that's going to hurt your skin. We want to source from places that aren't using animal testing, any of that kind of thing. We want it to be good for you, good for the environment. And yeah. So I think what I've learned the most this semester is the chemistry that goes behind the products. Working with the chemist is really cool. I had like a baseline idea of what you don't want to mix and what you do want to mix, but she really helped me look at how things would react together in the product itself and then how it would react on your skin. So I learned a lot of further in-depth information about what the oils and the herbs do with your skin based on its like chemical content. I mean, it's really cool to know. So rosemary is invigorating, but I think this semester I really learned the why. I knew like calendula was a skin herb, but I feel like I've been able, by just creating products and really having to figure out what goes in there, I've been able to figure out why it's good for the skin. Not just that it is, but the science and the chemistry behind that. Yeah, so I have all of our products here. I've been a part of developing or tweaking most of them. The products go back to our original herbalist who did this for 20 years before, but with time comes new ingredients, so we've got a lot of exciting new things that are really ancient, but they're coming back. So we have our whole product line here, and yeah, so I think that's it.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about your next steps in your education and how your work in E3 has guided those? But before you do that, thank you. That was fabulous, and it smells so good in here now.
I want to rub it off. So I'm graduating this month. Today's my last day of school, actually. I'm going to CSU. I'm doing Biomedical Sciences. I'm in their Honors Biomedical Sciences program. I chose it because I'm thinking right now at some point I either want to do medical or graduate school. But also because it's going to allow me the background to be able to work with this more in depth. So the chemistry and the science that I'll learn within that program is going to help me as a product developer, because this is something that I see myself doing for a lifetime in addition to possibly like a medical or a graduate program. So I'm going to do that, and I'm minoring in nutrition because that's something I'm really interested to, that whole mind, body, spirit, wellness. So I got into that, and I think I was really nervous actually that I wouldn't get into the program because I didn't take 1,800 AP classes. I did take concurrent enrollment, but there's this kind of disconnect with community college, I feel like. It's not as regarded as AP, but I think the reason I really got into it was because of what I did with E3. I know actually that they wanted kids who had like tangible experience. And the consensus is you can have as many AP classes as you want, but you don't have any extracurriculars or you haven't done anything else and you're not very well rounded. So I feel like the work that I've done with E3 has, one, guided me towards what I want to do in my life, but it's also given me kind of a cool background story when applying to colleges and programs like that. It was nerve-wracking because I felt like this weird little different kid trying to apply to college. But it really has allowed me to be different, and I think that it's made me stand out a lot. I got several scholarships, I think, for the same reason. They read through 1,000 applications a day, and you have to stand out, and I feel like what I've done with E3 and being able to start a business and taking college classes and speaking at TEDx and all of that has allowed me that little extra push. And I feel like I'm going to go into college super, super prepared. Especially the program I'm doing, it's all research-based and it's all project-based. And that's what I've done. So I think I'm ready.
Congratulations, Sierra. I'm so proud of you and so excited for all the stuff to come for you.
Me too.
Thanks so much.